There was this old boy, he was born, he didn't have any ears, he just had two holes in the side of his head. Well, when he went to school, all the kids made fun of him stuff. And when he got to high school, he decided he was going to buckle down and make something out of himself. So he got a bunch of degrees and got out of school, and next thing you know, he's the CEO of this major corporation. They were located down there in the middle of Manhattan. They had a big skyscraper, and his office was on the top floor. He had 9 secretaries working for him. Well, he gets a phone call one day from the factory, and they say, hey, we need to hire somebody. So he grabs a big stack of applicants about that thick, calls his head secretary in there and says, hey, we got to hire somebody. Pick 3 out of this stack and call them in, and I'll interview them one after another, and I'll pick somebody out. So she gets on the phone and gets them all 3 in there, and they're in there in the waiting room, and she calls the CEO up and says, well, they're here. He said, well, send the first one in. First guy comes in, the CEO sitting behind his desk, and he says, sit down, son. So the kid sat down, and the CEO leans forward and says, hey, son, I want you to tell me something about me, something you notice. Kid looks at him and says, well, I notice you ain't got no ears. Oh, man, the CEO blew up. He said, I want you to tell me something that wasn't so obvious. Get out of here. So he runs him out of the office. He calls the secretary up and says, hey, send the next one in. So the next kid comes in, sits down. CEO leans forward and says, hey, son, is there anything you can tell me about me? Anything you notice? Anything at all? Kid looks him over and he says, well, I noticed where you're supposed to have ears, you ain't got none. CEO blows up again. He says, get out of here. I wanted to hear something that wasn't so obvious. Get out of here. Runs him out of there. Calls the secretary up. Send the last one in here. Kid comes in. He sits down, and CEO leans forward and he says, hey, is there anything you can tell me about me? Anything at all? Kid's kind of looking him over and he says, yeah, I noticed you got contact lenses on. CEO's like, wow, very observant of you. How did you know I'm wearing contact lenses? Kid said, well, I figured you had to be wearing contacts because you ain't got no ears to hang your glasses on.